Hello everyone, welcome back to Namma Laex Bengal Presents Current Issue of the Day. In today's episode, we will discuss the budget highlights and continue yesterday's discussion. Yesterday, we discussed the basics of budget and important factors, important changes that the budget was bringing. In today's episode, we will discuss budget and its implication on citizens, budget and its implication on sectors, budget and its implication on the states, and budget and its implications on the subsectors. Okay, so we'll discuss in a holistic manner. So first, let us discuss the budget. How is India moving from revenue first to citizen first? Very important. India is moving towards a welfareist policy. That is, we are not worried about revenue. Instead, we are worried about the citizens. So what are the few important aspects of the budget? First is with respect to senior citizens get easier paperwork. What do you mean? From Form 15G to Form 15G and Form 15H can now be submitted through depository for all the investments. So these are the forms which are involved in claiming pensions. So there has been a flexibility that feels human. What do you mean by this? Returns can now be revised till 31st March and lower or nil TDS certificates will be automated without visiting the tax officers. Previously, what used to happen was if there was an exemption limit was there, if they cross that exemption limit, if they cross that particular limit, then unnecessary TDS was applied on this Form 15G and Form 15H, which meant that there was lesser return for the senior citizens. Though they are paying for the pension, they used to get lesser returns. But now this unnecessary exemption limit has been removed, meaning that they will not be getting unnecessary tax deductions at sources. Okay, next, this makes it very human, so that the life of senior citizens is more human now. They are not going to be dependent on their kids or anyone else for that matter. Next is a new tax era. So what it does is, here the aim is to reduce increase travel and also reduce litigances. So a new income tax act from 1st April 2026 brings simple rules and redesigned forms for easier compliances. So the forms are going to be very easier now, simpler now, so that the compliance is more easy, so that the evasion is less. For example, overseas education and medical spends gets a relief. That is TCS. What is TCS? TCS is a tax collected at the sources on overseas spending for treatment is in education and medical is reduced from 5% to 2%. Yesterday I told you the TCS on overseas travel has been reduced from 5 to 20% to 2% now. So with respect to education, previously it was 5%, now it has been reduced to 2%. In travel it was 20%, it has now been reduced to more than 10%. So that is how they are easing the movement across the countries as well. Next is clearer rule for buybacks. Very important. Buyback is now treated as capital gains for simpler and fairer compliance. Okay, and then data independence gets a long runway. Yesterday I was telling you, foreign cloud providers using the data centers in India will get a tax holiday until 2047. If you ask me which is the most significant provision of this year's budget, I would say this one. So it has been, this particular data localization has been a longer dream of India. So with this provision, it is going to be a reality now. So there are many benefits which is going to be accrued out of data localization. Next is relief should not be taxed. That is, interest from motor accident claims tribunal awards is fully exempt from the tax and TDSs. Very important. So obviously they're already getting the relief because they were involved in accidents, etc. So previously on these reliefs which is given by the accident tribunal were also subjected to taxes, but now that has been removed. Next, business tax gets predictable. That is, IT safe harbor is now simpler with a fixed 15.5% margin, which a higher through 2000 crore threshold and a 5-year validity. Okay, so just need to remember the numbers, no need to go into details of it. Next is with respect to resolution or run around. So previously under the different tax laws, what used to happen was, when if you are in any particular issues regarding taxes, then what used to happen was, it used to be run around the different courts, run around the different departments, etc., etc. Now instead of run around, there is resolution. How? Through updated returns can be filed even after the reassessment. That is, begins by paying additional tax to close cases faster. Okay, you can just pay additional taxes and close your cases instead of running around aimlessly. Next, a fairer prosecution framework. What does this mean? Minor offenses are decriminalized now, and serious violations face punishment with the lower maximum imprisonment. Okay, so that these tax evasion can be reduced, so that the tax compliance can be improved. What else? Next is very important. 10 big moves of the budget 2026-27. Different sectors and different numbers, which is going to be very important. First is 12.2 lakh crore capex push. Yesterday I already discussed this one, but just 12.2 lakh crore capex push. That is capital expenditure push, which is a massive public investment to keep infrastructure momentum strong. Infrastructure is going to be the backbone of development in the coming years. And what else? Next is 10,000 crore rupees to create champion SMEs, small and medium enterprises. SME growth fund plus 2,000 crore top up for self-reliant India fund. Okay, aim is to promote SMEs so that India can be self-reliant in the manufacturing sector. Next is 7.85 lakh crore for defense. This is one of the big move post Operation Sindoor. We understood what are the drawbacks that India faces in the defense. So India understood that in order to face double pronged threat from both Pakistan and China, India needs to step up its game in defense. So as a result, a major boost to strengthen national security and support self-reliance in India. So out of this 7.5 lakh crore, we are not going to buy most of the things from outside of India. We are going to focus mainly on indigenization of weapons, indigenization of defense, which is going to be very important for Atmanirbharata in defense. Next is 4 coastal states. Okay, so rare earth corridor across 4 coastal states. Yesterday I discussed rare earth corridor is going to be very important in the 21st century. And what are the states? Dedicated rare earth corridors in Kerala, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, and to reduce import dependence and to boost critical mineral processing. So normally and currently we are dependent on China for most of the rare earth minerals or materials or metals. So as a result, China is using them as a weapon. They're weaponizing the resources. So in order to get rid of this dependence on China, we are focusing on mining and processing critical minerals as well as rare earth materials. Next, India Semiconductor Mission 2.2, which is a strategic frontier leap to build domestic chip ecosystems. So chips, previously I did a video on semiconductor, which is considered as a nervous hub of or nervous system of the world. So discussed what are the nervous system of the hub, how semiconductors are produced, and how like lithography is done, where is lithography done, and which company is involved in lithography, which company is involved in actual manufacturing of chips, which country is involved in raw materials, etc., etc. So chips is considered as new oil. This is considered as new oil of 2025 or 2026 coming years. So it is very imperative that India has to invest in this semiconductor as well. Next is electronics components outlay has been raised, meaning electronic components and manufacturing scheme has been scaled up to 40,000 crores. Again, very important together for deep technologies in the future. What else? 10,000 crore rupees for container manufacturing, very important for especially the logistics sector. Scheme is a 5-year plan to create a globally competitive container ecosystem. Very important. You might think, what is the significance of container? Normally, all the external trade happens in these containers on the ships. So it was very important that India builds self-reliance in these containers as well. And what else? 10,000 crore for biopharma shakti. 10,000 crore for biopharma shakti. That is a big biopharma manufacturing mission targeting diabetes, cancer, and autoimmune disorders. Okay, focus is also on the health sector. What else? Next is tax holiday, which is, as I told you, for data centers and data localization. Foreign companies using Indian data centers, and also a 20 plus year runaway to make India a global data infrastructure hub. You always hear about this data analyst, data scientist, data collection, etc., etc. All these are dependent on data centers, so it is very important. Next, exports unlocked for artisans and small businesses. It is 10 lakh rupees cap per courier. Export consignment has been removed. Previously there was a 10 lakh rupees cap per courier export. Now the cap has been removed, meaning they can spend or they can send more than 10 lakh rupees consignment to foreign, which is going to result in enabling higher value shipments without the restrictions of this 10 lakh cap, which will result in easier export for the artisans, the small business and e-startups with the simpler procedures and better access to global markets. Okay, and to sum up our budget, these two panels are very important. First is 6 C's. Nirmala Sitharaman said the coming years will focus and unfold on the 6 C's. What are the 6 C's? First is chips. Semiconductor Mission 2.0 will power India's next chip revolution. Next, corridors of rare earth minerals across 4 coastal states: Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. Next, containers. 10,000 rupees crore push for a globally competitive container ecosystem, as I told you. Next, C is chemicals. 3 new chemical parks around India. Next is data cloud centers, cloud data centers. Tax holiday till 2047 to make India global hub for cloud infrastructure. Next is content economy, very important. This has been criticized as well as supported by many people. Many people consider that the lack of creation of employment from the government side is evident because they are focusing mainly on the content creation now. But many are promoting, or many are praising the government for considering content creation as a job, considering content creation as opportunity for the new age youth, especially the Gen Z. So here, AVGC content creator labs in 15,000 schools and 500 colleges. So now content creators labs will be available in the schools across India. Previously, what was seen as cringe, all this content creation was seen as cringe previously, but now it is going to be a sustainable job opportunity as well. Okay, students will be trained in content creation across 15,000 schools. Next, to summarize a new tax law: relief, not red tape. So how budget 2027 transforms taxation into tool for empowerment. So new taxation, that is 10 ways in which Union Budget 26-27 increases the lives of taxpayer. First is lower TCS, that is lower tax cuts at sources. Okay, overseas education and medical spending tax cut has been reduced from 5 to 2%. Next, new tax act brings simpler laws and redesigned form, and it is launched on April 1st, 2026, and easier compliance for senior citizens and small investors can submit form 15G or 15H via depositories for all investments, and also this will result in lesser TDS. Next, dispute resolution. Updated returns allowed post assessment as well to settle the cases faster by paying some extra tax. Next is accident relief. Tribunal award interest is now free of tax and also TDS free. Next, buyback reform shifted to capital gains tax for better equity and clarity. And cloud incentive till 2047, and IT safe harbor, that is the new 15.5% margin and 2,000 crore threshold with a 5-year validity increases tax compliance. Next, decriminalization, that is minor tax offenses have been shifted to graded penalties and immunity. Instead of criminalizing them, they have been decriminalized. Next, greater flexibility, that is revised returns till 31st March, staggered deadlines and automated lower or nil TDS certificates. So this is the importance of this year's budget. So the numbers are not only important because they are catering to larger industries or sectors, but also important because they are catering to even small worker as well, such as senior citizens, even for cloud data centers, etc. etc. So it is a very comprehensive and holistic budget, you must say. The budget is considered as the budget of the dreams. Budget of the dream is nothing but the dream of India. So these are the few highlights from budget. In next video, we will be talking about how the budget is helping or how the budget is catering to different states across India and different sectors as well. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.